This win, much needed for the Miami Sharks. They go up to Carolina to play against Anthem Rugby Club at American Legion Memorial Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Anthem RC, winless, 13-0 at this point. Miami Sharks have to win this game. They have to win this game. Fortunately, they were able to do so. They were able to get this done here in this game. So, in the first half, there was already a yellow card issued to Still for Charlotte, and what happened was, as a penalty try, this is what happened. There was a instance where a rugby player of ours went to try to get this try. However, Still made a pretty good play to keep him from not touching the ground with a rugby ball. That was a great play, or so I thought. So it turns out, in the try line, or over the try line, Still had his arm around the player's neck. So TMO went into for a review, and they determined that his arm was around the neck. So not only it's going to be a yellow card for a high tackle, pretty much, it's going to be a penalty try because it occurred in that line. So penalty try goes to the Miami Sharks. So we're up by 7 at this point. So good start. Then in the back and forth sequence between Anthem and Miami, nobody can even remotely close to get this freaking try in. And it's also frustrating because Miami had a 1-man advantage over Anthem. Anthem was a man down for about 10 minutes. And when the penalty was over, let me see if I can pronounce this. There was a try made by Anthem, despite a lot of knock-ons and turnovers and mishandled the rugby ball. O'Shaughnessy gets a try there for Anthem, and nobody's able to bring him down. That's what's so frustrating about this Miami Sharks defense. They are capable of bringing people down, but when a time is needed, they just were not able to do so. So, Loopster gets a 2-point conversion, and that ties the game up. And then we have this situation in the 31st minute where Still had somebody, he picks him up and then drives him down to the ground. And that is a violation of the rugby code in MLR. Players get into a scuffle. There was some pushing and shoving. TMO takes a look at it, and considering it's the same guy, he already has a yellow card in the 3rd minute from the high tackle. So it turns out he's a pretty violent player, huh? He gets a second yellow, and followed by the soccer rules. When you have a second yellow, that pretty much means you get a red card. Still gets ejected. He is done for the game. He is done for this game for Anthem. Now, apparently, I didn't know this until this game, and apparently that's what might have happened in the Utah game. Remember that vlog? So it turns out there's 20 minutes for Miami advantage after the red card has been issued. However, he doesn't come back in the game. A different guy steps in for that particular guy. It doesn't happen that way in soccer, but in rugby, when a red card happens, not only he's ejected, but they have 20 minutes. Miami has 20 minutes of man advantage. 20 minutes. I did not know this until this game. Now, folks are going to ask me, saying, what about the Utah game that happened? Well, first off, I was at that game. I didn't realize there was a red card. It was so far away, happened so freaking fast from my area. And number 2, they wouldn't announce there was going to be a 20-minute thing. I don't remember they did. But if they did, and I'm sorry, then clearly I wasn't paying attention. But I'm at the game. I'm not hearing the commentary. I'm not hearing the ref's mic. So no, of course I wouldn't know about that scenario. I wouldn't know about it. But now I do. Now I know about it. So now, for all that clarification out, that is where we're at. Anyway, that happened in the 31st minute. Still is done for the game. Somebody has stepped in for the second half. Apparently so. A couple minutes later, Miami would take advantage of this. And I'm thinking in my head, imagine Miami will not get this try, right? Well, Greg did, and that was a good try. I'll take that. Now, can we kick? Videla missed it. Penalty kick, because Anthem keeps committing penalties. Videla this time makes a penalty kick to make it 15-7. That would be the halftime score. So that's good. Coming off for the second half, Videla gets a try for Miami to make it 20-7. Miami Sharks. He can score a try, but he can't convert a 2-point conversion. Great. Then in a little bit while in the 52nd, I don't remember when it was, Anthem would get the guy back, not still, but a different guy, to even things out. Miami would get the try in this scenario. However, something must have happened, and they disallowed a try. I'm not sure whether or not if there was a knock-on or something like that. I was not paying attention. I'm going to be frank with you. But I saw what I was watching it too, and they brought it back up. So it would not be 25-7. It eventually would be 25-7. Echeverry would get this try in the 59th minute to make it 25-7 Miami Sharks. And let's see if Videla can make this 2-point conversion. Can he? The answer to this, finally, a freaking miracle. He gets it. He gets this 2-point conversion. 2 minutes later, penalty kick. Nah, missed it. So it's still back and forth. Anthem trying to get to the try line. They were not able to do so. Too many turnovers in this game. O'Keller for Anthem would get this try to make it 12-27. Lobster would, I can't pronounce it. Gets this 2-point conversion to make it 14-27. In my head, I'm thinking every point freaking matters. Can they not be within 7 or blow this game like they almost did with Utah? Well, 2 minutes later, there was a penalty by Anthem. Videla would get this penalty kick, and he makes it 30-14, and that will wind up being a final score of this one. 30-14, Miami Sharks does not get to the humiliation level that I thought it would. Thank God. And get 5 points out of this. 5 points out of this. We are a few points behind Chicago, 9 points behind Old Glory DC, which, speaking of Old Glory DC, that's our next match for next week. Or now this week, because today is Sunday, this match coming on Saturday. We have Old Glory DC and Chicago Hounds next week, next Saturday on June 29th. Both of these games are going to be on YouTube, by the way. Both these games are going to be on YouTube. I would watch the games. I would watch those games. Those games are pretty important. These are playoff implication games. We win this game and hope that Chicago loses, we might have a shot. But it's a mountain to climb. It's a mountain to climb in this one. So, tomorrow, Chicago is playing against San Diego at home at SeatGeek Stadium, which I think that's the stadium called. We got to root for San Diego this one. And the Hounds are going to play Anthem next week. So that's definitely going to be a win. This might be the implication here. We have to beat Old Glory next week. We have to win. This is a must-win for Miami Sharks. A must-win. We have to root for Legion to beat Chicago. Otherwise, Chicago wins this one, our season's probably over. We will not make the playoffs if those are the case. But we have to rely on ourselves. Chicago, no way they're going to lose to Anthem. No way. That's the team that we just beat today. Old Glory, a small possibility, but they have to get it going. Otherwise, even if they lose to San Diego, we could still lose to Old Glory, and then we still have our season ended. And we look forward for next season. So, keep an eye on that. And let's say the best case scenario is Anthem somehow beats Chicago, and then we lose to Old Glory, and Chicago still lose to Legion. We still have to figure out how to beat Chicago at SeatGeek. The best case scenario is Chicago loses against San Diego tomorrow and somehow losing to Anthem, which is unlikely. Then we will have a shot and beat Old Glory. We will have a small chance, but this will be a must win if we play against Chicago. A must win. Otherwise, we probably have to kiss our playoff hopes goodbye. But we'll see what happens, folks. Miami Sharks get this victory, 30-14 over Anthem. The next 2 weeks, critical for our playoff hopes. And we'll see what happens with this one, folks. So that's going to do it for this one. If you have enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe for content because Miami TVG has it back. And when it does, hit it right there with the fear achievement you deserve. This is Miami TV sign out, folks. Adios.